We will trip through the pages of the renowned book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki in this video. Many people's perspectives on money, wealth, and financial freedom have been altered as a result of this book. Whether you've read Kiyosaki's books before or are completely unfamiliar with the ideas he covers, this summary will give you important new information on the fundamental ideas of financial success. Join our financial revolution. Like and subscribe now, and take control of your wealth. Robert Kiyosaki's background. We must first get to know Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in order to fully appreciate the wisdom contained therein. Robert was raised in a regular middle-class home and was born in Hawaii. Like his poor dad, he had been raised with a strong foundation in conventional financial principles. Financial hardships and a lack of financial education characterized Kiyosaki's early years. He frequently questioned why he had never been taught about money in school, given how important it was to adult life. Eventually, this interest compelled him to look for financial expertise outside of the regular classroom. Despite his difficulties, Kiyosaki was adamant about overcoming the financial limitations that had been holding him back. His rich dad, the father of his best buddy, served as his mentor as he set out on his path. This famous person had a very different tack when it came to money, investing, and building wealth. In Kiyosaki's life, Rich Dad had a crucial role as a mentor, pointing him in the direction of a road of financial education and enlightenment. He challenged the idea of working for a paycheck and exposed Kiyosaki to the idea of financial freedom. As Robert Kiyosaki's understanding of finance grew, he began to understand that two different mindsets were at work: the mindset of his poor dad and the perspective of his rich dad. His book and financial philosophy would be built on these two opposing worldviews. Kiyosaki's journey from financial hardship to financial prosperity, driven by the advice of his rich dad, would ultimately result in the production of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Since then, this book has become a bestseller around the world, inspiring countless people to reconsider how they see money and riches. The Two Dads. Now that we have a better understanding of Robert Kiyosaki's history, let's explore one of the fundamental ideas of Rich Dad, Poor Dad in more detail. The two key individuals in his life, his rich dad and his poor dad. Rich Dad. The rich dad of Robert Kiyosaki was not his real father, but rather a close friend's father who served as his mentor. A man known as Rich Dad had a drastically different perspective on money and fortune. He instilled in Kiyosaki important knowledge about money management, investment, and business, since he thought that financial education was the key to financial success. The show Rich Dad emphasized the value of having your own money and the necessity of acquiring assets that produce passive income. He thought that the best way to get money was to start enterprises and take measured risks. He had the mindset of a genuine investor and entrepreneur. Poor Dad. Kiyosaki's biological father, his poor dad, on the other hand, upheld traditional views about money. He took the conventional route of obtaining a decent degree, finding steady employment, and setting aside money. Although he had the best of intentions, Poor Dad's financial philosophy was built on prudence and anxiety. He supported avoiding risks and sticking to the security of a steady employment. These two significant individuals in Kiyosaki's life reflected contrasting perspectives on wealth accumulation, achievement, and money. Kiyosaki began to doubt the common wisdom regarding money as a result of the discrepancy between their views and behavior. He understood that he had to embrace his rich dad's thinking and methods in order to become financially independent and accumulate permanent wealth. The novel Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't only about these two people. It also acts as a potent metaphor for the financial decisions we all have to make. Kiyosaki teaches readers a crucial lesson from his experiences with his two dads, that the road to financial freedom rests in comprehending and adhering to the rich dad's ideals. 1. The importance of financial education. The significance of financial education is one of the main tenets of Robert Kiyosaki's worldview in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Kiyosaki was adamant that one of the main causes of many people's financial difficulties is a lack of financial literacy. He made the point that while our traditional education system does a great job of training us for conventional occupations, it falls short when it comes to instructing us on how to manage money and amass wealth. Why don't they teach us about money in school, though it's such an important part of our life, was a question Kiyosaki frequently posed. In the book, Kiyosaki argues that financial literacy entails more than just understanding how to balance a checkbook and make on-time payments on your debts. It involves comprehending basic financial concepts, including the distinction between assets and liabilities, making money work for you, and generating passive income. His notion that financial education is the cornerstone of financial success was ingrained in him by Kiyosaki's Rich Dad book. He underlined the significance of continuing to learn about and broaden one's knowledge of finance, whether through reading, attending seminars, or conversing with knowledgeable mentors. The path to financial independence for Kiyosaki started with a dedication to financial education. He devoured financial and investing books, consulted with professionals, and actively worked to deepen his knowledge of monetary issues. Because of his commitment to learning, he finally came to have a perspective and set of tactics that were far different from those of his poor dad. 2. Assets versus liabilities. The distinction between assets and liabilities is a key idea introduced by Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it serves as the foundation of his financial philosophy. Understanding how to accumulate wealth and achieve financial freedom depends on this idea. Assets. According to Kiyosaki, assets are anything that helps you make money. These are assets that add to your financial security, such as investments or rental properties. Rental properties, stocks, bonds, and profitable companies are a few examples of assets. The main quality of assets is that they provide income for you, assisting in your long-term wealth accumulation. Liabilities. Liabilities, on the other hand, are things or costs that come out of your wallet. These are debts that deplete your resources and lower your net worth. Mortgages, auto loans, credit card debt, and other consumer debt are examples of common liabilities. In essence, liabilities are the financial constraints that could impede your path to financial freedom. According to Kiyosaki's wisdom, accumulating more assets than obligations is the key to financial success. This entails creating a portfolio of investments that provide income while being careful not to take on too much debt that could result in additional liabilities. In order to build wealth and financial security, you should put assets before liabilities. One of the most important steps in changing your financial thinking is comprehending the distinction between assets and liabilities. He learned from Kiyosaki's Rich Dad that the wealthy concentrate on amassing assets that provide passive income so they may escape the cycle of working for a living and start having money work for them. The fundamental idea of assets versus liabilities, which serves as the basis for the financial ideas espoused by Robert Kiyosaki, has been covered in this portion of our overview. As we go on, we'll go more deeply into Kiyosaki's methods for accumulating a portfolio of assets that may generate income and lowering your debt, giving you practical advice for achieving financial independence. 3. The rat race. The idea he refers to as the rat race is eloquently described by Robert Kiyosaki in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This phrase describes the vicious cycle that many people experience in their personal and professional lives. In the never-ending cycle of the rat race, people toil away trying to pay their bills and settle their debts, frequently piling on more debt in the process. They depend on their income to support their way of life, but frequently it is only enough to pay their debts and commitments. Kiyosaki's Poor Dad represented the typical strategy of working for job security, a consistent wage, and the assurance of retirement benefits. This way of thinking frequently puts people in the rat race, where they are reliant on their jobs to provide for their basic requirements. But Rich Dad by Kiyosaki showed him that there is a way out of the rat race. It entails reorienting your priorities from securing your employment to securing your financial future, assembling a portfolio of assets that generate income, and setting up various passive income streams. You take charge of your financial future and can escape the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck by doing this. The key, according to Kiyosaki, is to make intelligent financial choices that progressively lessen your reliance on traditional work, rather than abandoning your job right away. Building a financial safety net will enable you to live life on your terms and work for the satisfaction of your interests, rather than out of necessity. One of the most important first steps to transforming your financial destiny is to comprehend the idea of the rat race. It acts as a wake-up call, urging you to reconsider the conventional route and look into different avenues for achieving financial freedom. 4. Building wealth. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is a guide for creating enduring riches as well as a book about comprehending the rat race. According to Kiyosaki, anyone who is ready to adopt the proper mindset and tactics can become wealthy. Kiyosaki's strategy for accumulating wealth is based on a few fundamental ideas. 1. Invest wisely. Kiyosaki urges people to start investing rather than just saving money. He highlights the value of making investments in assets that may generate income, such as stocks, enterprises, and real estate. By using your money in this way, you can establish a passive income stream that helps you achieve your financial objectives. 2. Support entrepreneurship. According to Kiyosaki, entrepreneurship is a potent route to wealth. Starting and running a business has the potential to lead to significant growth and financial freedom, in addition to greater revenue. 3. Avoid the debt trap. Although Kiyosaki agrees that certain debt can be properly used to buy assets that generate income, he cautions against taking on large amounts of consumer debt. You can safeguard your financial future by keeping your liabilities under control and making prudent financial decisions. 4. Raise financial IQ. It's important to keep raising your financial IQ. To increase their financial literacy, Kiyosaki advises people to study books, attend seminars, and look for mentors. Making wise financial decisions is easier the more you understand about money and investing. 5. Take reasonable risks. Taking prudent risks is a key component of wealth accumulation. Successful business people and investors, according to Kiyosaki, aren't hesitant to venture outside of their comfort zones and take advantage of possibilities that others might pass over. People can work to accumulate wealth and achieve financial independence by implementing these concepts. He learned from Kiyosaki's Rich Dad that aggressively trying to enhance your assets, decrease your liabilities, and continuously advance your financial education are the keys to financial success. 5. Entrepreneurship and investing. Robert Kiyosaki emphasizes the importance of investing and starting a business in Rich Dad, Poor Dad as means of achieving financial independence. Entrepreneurship. Kiyosaki highlights that starting your own business is one of the fastest ways to accumulate wealth. You may take charge of your financial future and establish various revenue sources by starting your own business. In contrast to a regular job, where you trade your time for money, entrepreneurship empowers you to use your resources, ideas, and abilities to make money. According to Rich Dad by Kiyosaki, starting a business involves a mental adjustment. It involves seeing possibilities, taking measured risks, and accepting the difficulties of starting a firm. Entrepreneurship may initially be difficult, but when pursued correctly, it can result in financial freedom. Investing, another tenet of Kiyosaki's wealth-building theory, is investing. He promotes investing in assets that can generate income in order to make your money work for you. Real estate, stocks, bonds, and even launching or acquiring businesses are examples of this. The objective is to develop passive revenue sources that either match or outpace your expenses. He learned from Kiyosaki's Rich Dad that wise investors can evaluate investments, control risks, and make judgments. Investing is strategically allocating resources to assets that have the potential to increase in value over time rather than engaging in mindless speculation. Both starting your own business and investing are ways to escape the grind and achieve financial independence. You may create riches that will last for generations by developing an entrepreneurial mindset and becoming an astute investor. 6. The power of mindset. The transformational power of mindset is a major theme in Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. According to Kiyosaki, Your perspective has a significant influence on your ability to succeed financially. Rich Mindset. Rich Dad by Kiyosaki taught him the value of developing a wealthy mindset. This way of thinking is defined by the conviction that riches and financial independence are attainable via hard work, education, and wise choices. A wealthy mindset is open to take measured risks in order to succeed and focuses on opportunities rather than obstacles. Scarcity mentality. A scarcity mindset, on the other hand, is characterized by anxiety, self-doubt, and the notion that resources are scarce. This way of thinking was exemplified by Kiyosaki's Poor Dad, which frequently advised against risk and promoted a conventional, secure approach to money. A scarcity mindset can keep people mired in the rat race because it makes them afraid to risk taking financial risks. The core message of Kiyosaki's lessons is that shifting your perspective is the first step toward improving your financial situation. You can go over the constraints of a scarcity mindset and broaden your outlook on financial progress by developing an affluent mindset. Many readers have learned how to achieve financial freedom thanks to Robert Kiyosaki's journey from financial hardship to financial knowledge. He has demonstrated to us that our ability to succeed financially is influenced by our decisions and the mindset we adopt, not just by the stories of his rich dad and poor dad. The importance of financial education, the difference between assets and liabilities, the idea of the rat race, the methods for accumulating wealth through entrepreneurship and investing, and the transformational power of mindset have all been covered in this brief. Your perspective on wealth and money may change as a result of these ideas.